What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're talking about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Before we get into this one, check out the last episode, Monaco. You never want to miss a Monaco episode, and if you did, then shame on you. But back to this episode, and as the title suggests, we're going to be spending quite a bit of moolah in this episode. On the topic of that, we got some sponsorship renewals, which we're taking care of now. Basically, I just went for some more realistic sponsor goals. One of them was beat a rival. The other one was qualify in, I think, P15 or better. And then another one, which was just a pretty generic one. Finish ahead of the team ahead of you in the performance index, which is one that I didn't notice the first time around in career mode. But there we go. A couple of, weekly thingies coming in. A technical term, a thingy. And, yeah, we're stopping time at the perfect time to hopefully get on our next upgrade, that being a tire wear upgrade. We also did a major weight reduction upgrade for the chassis. That has gone on in time for this race, which is awesome to see. Fast forwarding time again. Chassis upgrade goes on, and so too does the tire wear upgrade. We've got another boost of resource points coming in due to some of the weekly activities we did, and that's going to allow us to do a minor front wing upgrade, and I've rushed that in time for the Canadian Grand Prix next episode out, so hopefully that'll go on in time for that episode. And we're really starting to build that snowball of momentum. We're getting there slowly, but now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the video. We're going to be spending the dosh. So we had about 120 million heading into this episode, and we've just spent 20 million on the aero side of things, just like that. So we did a fabrication upgrade for the chassis. We're also going to upgrade the analysis suite for the personnel, and this is because we may lose Lewis Hamilton. We may have a driver that requires more experience per se. Fabrication upgrade for the powertrain, quality control upgrade for the powertrain. I don't know why I didn't do these upgrades any sooner. What I'm not going to do is resource point generation. I'm not going to go to level 3 for any of the departments because I feel like that would be too OP. Marketing boost for the sponsor relations. That'll increase acclaim for everything that we do. And then finally, I'm actually going to do a resource point generation upgrade, but only because we're on level 1 currently of aerodynamics. I'm going to go to level 2, and that's an additional $6 million spent. So there we go. That is all the upgrades we're going to do. I did really think about that, but I think on merit, I don't think that's going to affect the balance of things too much. I think that's still going to be pretty good. If I did resource point generation for all the departments, maxing it out, then it would have been a bit silly. So we're just doing the one, and finally kind of addressing the elephant in the room, the straw poll that we had a few weeks ago. You guys wanted to see me spend the cash. I've done so, but I've done so at a reasonable level, not making things too overpowered, which is exactly what we want to see. So heading into Azerbaijan, we're hopefully going to be contesting for the points again. If you missed Monaco, like I said, we were well inside the points, and I think points now are the weekly aim for this series, and let's hope that we can do it. It's going to be tough. There's about 7 teams at the top of the field in F1. That's mightily quick. Any of the top 7 teams can win, but the disappointing thing is that because there's 7 teams that are mightily fast, they occupy all of the points. So we're going to quickly go from scoring no points to contesting for race wins, potentially. That's how close it is. But we'll wait and see how it goes. Choosing a rival for the rest of, the next few races. And they didn't give me much choice there. They gave me no midfield options. It's either back markers or Valtteri Bottas in the best car. So nice balancing there. We've got through all the practice programs that we needed to. That was all fine. And we're going to switch to column 2 for power unit components. This is the first time we've done this, so this will be a fresh power unit going in for this episode. It's Azerbaijan. It's a circuit which requires a lot of power. We're going to need it. We don't have any drag reduction upgrades yet on the car. So at the back end of the straight, we're going to be suffering a little bit. Hopefully that fresh engine can level the playing field a little bit for us. But let's get in to qualifying. Right, so it's qualifying time, and if you couldn't tell already, it is raining around Baku, so this will definitely throw a spanner in the works. However, the rain can sometimes be a bit of a leveler for us. I think, was it Zandvoort? We were looking very competitive when it started to bucket it down, so we'll see what this means for us. Traction is going to be vitally important in this session, just making sure we can lay down the power smoothly. So much time can be lost if you're not on top of that. So that's something we'll need to manage. First lap is done. 1 minute 51.2. We had a DRS failure. We clipped the wall halfway around the lap, and then we just clipped the wall as we exited that clip and had to do a front wing change, which cost me a couple of minutes. Changing to a new set of intermediate tires. We're going to go out at the end of the session and try and do as many laps as we can. You can see we're up by 3/10. Make that 4/10 as we go through. Make that 5/10 just about as we go through the turn 8 complex. And I was a bit conservative there on the run into the Carswell section. And that cost me a couple of tenths there through the middle sector now. And what I was doing on this lap was just playing around with ERS modes. I was running down in none, as you can see on corner exit, just to minimize the wheel spin. Because one thing that the battery is good at is low-end torque, low-end momentum. So I thought if I lower the battery, that'll help with traction, low speed. The thing that I found that works top speed is the fuel mix. And so I thought, I'd play around with things essentially. And what I found that I think lowering the engine mix was more effective for minimizing wheel spin than playing around with the battery, even though the battery is better at low-end acceleration. I thought that was just worth mentioning. But we're 7/10 up on this lap. Come around the final corner now. A little bit of a wobble. That last corner is not a corner in the dry, but in the wet it certainly is, and you've really got to keep your wits about you. Keep the weight transfer nice and smooth. We actually get out of qualifying 1 for a change, and we join our teammate in Q2, which is nice to see. Pretty much matching Lewis, only 800ths away, and I will absolutely take that. You can see clearly there the progression is being made by this team. We're chipping away every race, every round, slowly climbing up the performance index, with each and every upgrade. And, we're starting to become a somewhat competitive team. But at the moment, it has to be said, we're kind of in no man's land at this stage. We're faster than the back markers now, but the top 7 teams, are all pretty much race contending cars. And so there is a bit of a divide between, the slow and the fast in this field. Albeit it's still being actually quite close sometimes, but we're still, a ways away from being able to contest the top teams in this sport. Anyway, Q2 is underway, and it's now pretty much over for us as we binned it in the wall. We had a few hairy moments over the course of the last 30 or 40 seconds. The rear tires are really overheating, and then this is where it all came undone for us. I touched that inside curb and lost the rear end a little bit, and then I clipped a barrier on the left-hand side, which threw me the wrong way, and it was all just, it was all over from that point. You can see wall riding all the way down the straight. I've never seen anything like this, although I have had some pretty nasty crashes in that section of the track. One time with Valtteri Bottas where he went airborne once, but can't remember what career mode that was or how long ago it was, but it was certainly a wild ride, that's for sure. But somehow we're still in this qualifying session. There's 5 minutes to go. We've got a right rear puncture. We've got no front wing. The left rear is absolutely on fire. Perhaps I can borrow a bit of that tire temp and give it to JD to fire up his nitrogen-cooled tires. But we'll have to wait and see. But into the pit lane we go. This will probably be a lengthy, very lengthy repair for the team. I'd be surprised if we can get out there and do another lap. But, you know, we've got some of the best crew in World Motorsport in this team. Fast forward time, front wing damage has now been repaired, and there's bang on 3 minutes to go in this session. So we might get one run of this right at the end of the session. And so here we go. We had absolutely no time to spare. We had to get out there straight away and just start a lap. And the game has kind of plonked us in a bit of traffic. It's in the train for the most part if you look at the mini-map. So I couldn't really back off and slow down a little bit. I just had to take my lap and just start it. And unfortunately, we started it right behind Charles Leclerc. But I'm a bit unsure as to whether he's on a hot lap or not, because he's in a very fast car. But we're in P16 at the moment, and we're able to keep pace with him. I think he's starting to hold us up now as we get to the third sector. However, you know, this is the part of the track where we can make up a bit of time in his slipstream, in his tow. But yeah, following in his dirty air the whole lap hasn't been great up until this point. I'm going to be pretty mad, actually, if he pulls into the pit lane, because that means he wasn't on the lap. We come across the... Oh, he's boxed. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So that, holding me up for the whole lap, is completely unnecessary. Thank you very much, Charles Leclerc. Round of applause for him. That was absolutely amazing. We end up in P14. We out-qualify our teammate, which is nice. Yes, we got a tow from Leclerc down the back straight, but only for a few seconds. More time was lost following in the dirty air for the whole lap, as opposed to getting a little bit of slipstream at the end, which is rather frustrating. We could have gone even faster in quali, to be honest. But it is what it is. We're in a backmarker-ish car. There's a long way to go, and we are always more competitive in the race.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Kvyat, Lando Norris, and Leclerc, Albon, Ocon, Russell, and Carlos Sainz. Stroll, Gasly, Jack Aitken, Day, Hamilton, Hubert, Kevin Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. De Vries, Schumacher, Matsushita, and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
That is exactly the message we want to be sending to the fans, Jeff, and to the team alike. Got our first points on the board. The monkey has been shaken off, and now we can just go for it. We can go for points. We're not in a championship fight per se for the constructors or anything. We have unlimited funds, and so you know, this season now is all about building momentum, building resource points, and yeah, having fun, I suppose. But we'll try to do just that. It's Baku, Azerbaijan. There's always the potential for plenty of crashes. Strategy is medium to hard, but I would love to go medium soft if safety car allows it. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Grand Prix of Azerbaijan, and it looks like a pretty good start for those around us, especially Antoine Hubert, who ran into the side of us down into turn 1. But to more aptly put it, I got about a wheel spin, and whoa, Hubert going up the inside of like 3 or 4 drivers there, up the inside of a Mercedes as well, for no less, of Jack Aitken. We're now getting overtaken by Lewis Hamilton. But what I was trying to say down there was the contact was my fault, essentially. So that's my bad. Hamilton going up the inside of not only myself, but Carlos Sainz down into turn 3, nearly making it work for himself there. Turns to the outside for the next right-hander. and he gets the job done on the soft compound tyres. He's absolutely flying. This is possibly the first signs of life for Hamilton this season, as he's absolutely flying his way through the field. I've got to say, a lot of the people in this race are starting on the hards. Antoine Hubert pits early on. That's a shame. I'm sorry about the contact. Maybe he could have pressed on. This is a track where you can probably get away with front wing damage, given that there's not many high-speed corners around the circuit. We move on in this race. It's now lap 2. Hamilton is looking to go on the aggressive again. Aiken and Russell fighting over the same piece of real estate as Hamilton makes the most of that, getting out the inside of his former team, Mercedes, and looking to have a real fight of this. I've taken a horrible line through there for some reason. I was just trying to be too quirky there, trying to get around the outside of everyone, and in the end it didn't work. Aiken getting a horrific exit in the Mercedes, and Hamilton gets through. That is pretty crazy. We're always seeing a George Russell replica here with Jack Aiken in the Mercedes. Not performance-wise, but the fact that there's a young driver in that team. At the time of me recording this right now, I only literally just finished watching the Sakir Grand Prix, and it was so heart-wrenching to see what happened to George Russell in the race the other day. Massive shame. Should have gone on to win, but at the same time, I said it on social media. Very happy to see Sergio Perez get his first win in the sport. But back to this race, and you can see this is Jack Aiken fighting away with Lewis Hamilton. Jack Aiken actually managed to get back past Lewis Hamilton, so that is rather interesting. I guess one question for the video: do you guys think Hamilton is going to make it back for the finale in Abu Dhabi? I'd be happy if George got another shot, but at the same time, I'd be happy for Lewis to return and spank Valtteri Bottas again. We'll have to wait and see. Up the inside of George Russell. There he is in the Ferrari. So weird seeing him in red now after seeing him. Well, it was always weird seeing him go to Ferrari, but now it feels even weirder, given that he was just driving a Mercedes earlier today of me watching it. It's mental. Anyway, I'm going to stop mentioning real F1 now, and we're going to stay within the world of career mode. Still following our teammate Lewis Hamilton in the slipstream. That's a tardy exit for him out of the final corner. A bit wayward, possibly those rear tyres going off, and we're able to make the most of that. Up into Rich and overtake, and with the DRS open, we fly past him on the straight and into P12 in this race. So that's just characteristic of our car at the moment. Not too many tyre wear upgrades. We did do one on the way into this episode, into this race, which means that we're okay now. We're not horrible in terms of tyre wear. We're kind of just about average at this point, but we're still not great relative to those around us. One more tyre upgrade, I reckon, and we'd probably be able to easily do the soft-medium strategy without any complications. There's no guarantee that we can do the medium soft today, but I'm going to hopefully go for it, I think. We'll just have to wait and see. Great stop from the boys there for Hamilton. That's great service. Let's hope they stay nice and limbered up, because I'll be coming into the pit lane very shortly, and hopefully we get the same treatment. It's ranging up onto the back of Charles Leclerc now, the other Ferrari, the lead Ferrari in this duo, and seemingly on the hard compound tyres. Doesn't have the same pace as us at this phase of the Grand Prix. We just seem to be getting faster and faster. Tyre wear not affecting us too much just yet. We're going to go to the outside on Leclerc, and we're going to make the move stick, are we? Around the outside, Leclerc laid under brakes, had to leave him a bit of space on the inside to make sure we didn't tangle, and we get through. But crucially, we're able to stretch outside of 1 second. We're able to break the DRS window, and now we're starting to make some inroads on Jack Aiken again in the Mercedes. It's pretty crazy. Since Aiken had his retirement, he's maybe not been the same. He's not had a good weekend. Qualified outside the top 10 this weekend. He's finding his way back now, but life isn't so rosy for our potential championship contender in this race. Here's a running order of the contenders in this race. We're effectively P11 on the road, once you factor in the 2 pit stops for Albon and 1 for Stroll. Albon in the Red Bull, again, front-running car. nothing we can really do against them. So at this stage, we're technically not on target to get some points. And I don't know if you noticed, but everyone inside the top 10 pretty much is on the hard compounded tyre and have still yet to run their better tyre. So from my standpoint, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go for the soft compound tyre strategy to finish off the race with. I'm hoping there's going to be a safety car. But if not, we're just going to have to stretch it really long on these mediums. And, you know, the softer compound is the only method we have of being able to fight the likes of the top teams in Formula 1. If we, you know, come in now for our hards, we're going to have nothing to fight with relative to those around us. Everyone will be on mediums or softs, and they're going to be like seconds a lap faster than us, as you can see. A bit of a moment there through the castle section. We are putting it really close to the barriers in an effort to maximize a lap time. And that time around, we overstepped the mark a little bit. A bit of a clip on the right rear tyre. And from the rearwards angle, it didn't... From the front looking back, it didn't look like we made contact, but we did. We're now getting overtaken by Alexander Albon around the outside into the downhill left-hander. That's bravery to put some faith in me, not to put him in the wall, as I like to take up a lot of track space. But he's got through, and he's now effectively P2 in this race. He's definitely going to be a contender for the podium. Here comes George Russell now on the hards. So these guys who initially had pace on early, you know, phasing into this race quite nicely now with their hards, as our mediums are really starting to die off now. 71% for the right rear tyre. Baku is really a rear tyre eater, it seems. You've really got to run in lean revs, minimize the wheel spin as much as you can. There's no deg on the front tyres, and that's why there's such an imbalance of tyre wear front to rear. It can really affect you. But now we've got a rear puncture. Speaking of unequal tyre wear, right rear is now gone, and we're going to have to dive it into the pit lane now for a set of soft compound tyres. I was either going to dive it in on this lap or the next one, but the tyre wear has forced my hand. We're struggling to get this thing slowed down and into the pit lane safely. That rear tyre was flapping about all over the place, and we did very well not to spin there into the pit lane. So on we go to a set of soft compound tyres. I swear I'm probably the most unluckiest person in the F1 community when it comes to punctures. The cutoff point or the threshold is 75%. And I swear, as soon as my tyres, whether it be career mode, online, league racing, whatever, as soon as it gets to 75%, tyres are like, nah, peace out. Much like George Russell's today. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I'm definitely right. We've got 8 laps to go now. We saw past Giovinazzi, who makes a pit stop. Free DRS for us. Thank you very much. We did emerge not far behind, or not far ahead of Hamilton. He was within a second of us as we came out of the pit lane. But we gapped him very quickly. 3 seconds is the gap now. And that's only going to elongate even further now. We've got the slipstream and DRS of some front-running cars here. The McLaren and the Ferrari. And we're going to see if we can gun for a fastest lap attempt on this lap. This is also another reason why I wanted to go for the softs, because if we do get in the points, then that's even more points for us at the end of the day. So let's hope that we can do it. It's going to be tough, though, because there's a lot of other cars who are finishing the race on softs as well. But we're purple to the first sector. Our car is very fast in a straight line. We're lacking a bit of downforce with this car in terms of upgrades. Not great through the middle sector. But we finished the lap strong with a bit of DRS and slipstream of those ahead. And that is a fast lap of the Grand Prix, 1 minute 37.9. But the likes of Russell, Leclerc, Sainz, etc. are going to be pretty charged up to take that mantle away from me for the rest of this race. Meanwhile, we got a problem up front for one of the racing points. I believe it's Lance Stroll, who's holding up Lando Norris. He's just a few seconds up the road. So if Lance can't sort that issue out, then we're a good chance of snagging his position and maybe getting into 13th in this race. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Pit window is now open. Interesting call from Jeff there, thinking I'm going to come in again for another stop. That is definitely not going to be the case. There's only 4 laps to go, mate, and we want to maximize everything we've got in this race. We've lost DRS to the cars ahead, and I was just thinking about consolidating my position and just cruising to the end. And right as I was thinking that, these lot come out of the pit lane, Danny Kvyat and Esteban Ocon in the Renault. So I'm all of a sudden motivated to keep pushing to the end of the Grand Prix again as we go up in a rich and overtake in an effort to keep Kvyat behind. But these guys on massively fresh soft compound tyres. Very fast car for Kvyat and the AlphaTauri. Is no match against us. He goes up the inside of us. So too does Ocon into the double left hand, the downhill left-hander rather. Managed to hold it around the outside there somehow. And we're into P13. But that squabbling has been quite costly. It's allowed Kvyat to get away. There's no way I was going to stay with him anyway. But that squabbling has just meant that we lost DRS on this straight in particular. Here comes Ocon. No point fighting this. Much faster car. Much faster tyre that he's on. Though I don't like his aggressiveness. I don't like that push that I got. So I'm going to overtake him again. Take that, Ocon. Round the outside into turn 1. Let's make a race of this. Why not? The gap to the car behind us, behind this battle, is 10 seconds. So I think by all accounts, we're not going to lose a place to Hubert. We may as well fight for this now, especially now that Ocon has cheesed me off a little bit. Here he goes up the inside into the middle sector. We're going to see if we can hold it around the outside. Coming into here. Maybe do the switchback. Switchback is on. And we do get the better exit. We're back up into P13. Here comes Ocon again. Up the inside. And goodbye front wing. Thanks for playing. That's the end of my race. Nice little battle though. I'll definitely take that. Fighting up against the Renault on much fresher tyres in a faster car. But in the end, Ocon went in a bit deep into that corner actually and lobbed off my front wing. Not really giving us the space that we deserve. But I'm not angry, to be honest, because we weren't going to score any points in this race anyway. It was all really for pride. And it's not going to cost us any positions at the end of the day because Hubert is so far behind. But here is one of the Alfa Romeos getting past Lewis Hamilton. I believe that was Kevin Magnussen for P16. In the end, Hamilton running hard for the rest of the race and didn't really show any more promise after the opening stint, which was a shame. But that was the race. Max Verstappen wins, I believe. Valtteri Bottas second. Albon third. And for us, it's P14. It's actually a really good P14 despite the setup strategy issues.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner. But they've come through to take a brilliant win here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So Red Bull looking pretty strong at this point in the season, halfway stage. We always know Red Bull, update well. They chuck a lot of upgrades on over the course of the season, and Mercedes are struggling to, keep them at arm's reach at this point. Jack Aitken not having a good day. Did get fastest up though. Fought his way back from P13 on the grid, which is a decent recovery drive, but not a top 5 as you would expect from a Mercedes. All the top teams, I've said it countless times in this video, they're all pretty much, race-winning pace. So once you do get into that, lead group, it's hard to make any more inroads after that. But yeah, for us today, P14, I said we mucked it up on the strategy a little bit. Kind of caught in no man's land. Not only in terms of pace, but like strategy. I wanted to go medium soft. We got the puncture, which cost us a bit of time. And then the tyre wear was pretty harsh. And, we got caught up in the Ocon battle. We couldn't stay with the likes of Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, by the way. If we would have kept their pace, we would have been in the points. But we're just not at that level yet. So we'll have to keep chipping away. However, we are making good progress. P14, despite all the issues, is not bad. A few rounds ago, we would have had the perfect race to get P14 in a Grand Prix. So we're getting there slowly, and with the facility upgrades we've got on the way, things will be looking even better as we get to the back end of this season. So the sky is the limit. Max Verstappen leads 25 points over Jack Aitken. That's now a race victories lead over him in the championship. So pretty ominous for Red Bull. We're 14th in the standings on 11 points. Our only points grab coming from Monaco to shoot us up the standings. Constructors, we move up apparently, even though we scored no points today. We hold station. The graphic is just a bit odd sometimes. It's 8th place for us in the standings. Red Bull move up to first apparently. They definitely didn't move up to first. They were already there, from what I can tell you. And Ferrari and Racing Point apparently switched positions too. Don't know if that's to be believed either. But guys, that has been this episode for today. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We spent $91 million in this episode, and we did it all within about 3 minutes. Safe to say, I don't think I'll ever be spending that much money in that short space of time in my life ever again, unless I win the lottery. Fingers crossed. You guys got any good numbers? Let me know. But that's it from me today. Cash is coming in. Big damage deductions for us and Lewis as well. But we still have 30 mil in the bank. Enough to buy Lewis Hamilton for the rest of the season if he is willing to stay with the team. But that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you next time. It's the Canadian Grand Prix next, so we've got a flurry of street racing tracks. So, yeah, join me for that one. And hopefully, luck will be on our side. But until then, I'll see you next time.